Ah, the garden. Here we are outside in what's known here in the States as the yard, but as we know, cottage yard wouldn't make as much sense of a name as cottage garden. It sounds much more interesting. Look at that, look at that. The greenery coming out of the ground and forming beautiful things. You've got these things here and those things there. We're not really sure what any of that is because we moved in and didn't change it until now. But that's what this is all about. No, it's not about my lack of gardening skills. It's about cottage garden, the idea of taking a familiar thing that we're all comfortable with, right? Tile placement, laying a la Rosenberg's patchwork, and putting a neat little theme on it with this. And that's what cottage garden's all about. Here with Stronghold's great designers gardening. So what is cottage garden? Basically, cottage garden takes this, although it shrinks it down into this little plot right here. Everyone gets two of these little cottage garden-y plots. Each side is different, kind of like Sagrada in that sense. These little symbols come into play later. We'll talk about that in a minute. But the point is, everyone gets two of these, and your job is to take these kind of tiles and place them out in different flowers of different types and different shapes onto your board to where at the end of the game, you have the most covered up, a la Tetris with stuff. But look at this. Let's talk component quality first of all. I like the idea of a theme with this, right? But also a wheelbarrow. Are you serious right now? An actual wheelbarrow. I don't really know what this is for quite yet, but it's pretty amazing. It's your timer, your marker of your turn timer, which is crazy. Also, look at this. Cat tokens. Who doesn't like a good cat token, right? So your goal is to be the most efficient farmer and gardener, whatever, and make a plot like this look neat and nice and sturdy and have the most coverage without any blank spaces for points or weeds for that matter. Look at these things. These are hideous. They need to go. Actually, I think that's just grass growing up through there, but whatever, that's not about the game. Let's take a look further at what you do on your turn. So first off, let's talk these components one more time. Look at this wheelbarrow. This is great. It's for your track, and it goes something like this. You lay out all the excess pieces that don't go on the board in kind of a line, and you follow that line as you refill, somewhat like this. You move on through the line, further and further down the line each time you refill, and just make an endless circle, Ouroboros style, of eating its own tail. The tiles are broken down in light sides and dark sides. Each player gets a light side, each player gets a dark side tile. They are random. The other players, whoever they are, will also get a light side, dark side tile. You'll put one tile next to the scoreboard thing here, and you will see what that's for later. This scoreboard tile gets the other 16 pieces to start with. You'll just kind of put these out onto the board in a neat, organized fashion. I'll tell you what, let's snap and do it like this, right? Much better, right? Movie magic. Anyway, look, the 16 tiles start with this right here. You put your farmer dice in a 1 to 2 player game up there in the top on number 2. These are the round markers, so the farmer dice goes here. Each time someone takes their turn, they follow the phases of the game, which those phases are clearly laid out in the rule book on page 3. And by page 3, of course, I mean page 3. The game has the refilling phase, the planting phase, the scoring phase, the gardener phase. That sounds like a lot of phases per turn. It's actually not, because you typically will only do this one, and this one. This one only happens when you're able to score. And we'll talk about that, what that looks like right now. So, the first phase is the refilling phase. The first phase, you skip it on your first turn because there's nothing to refill on the first turn. You notice that because everything's filled out here. You then start picking up tiles for the planting phase. So let's just say player number 1 takes this tile. Well, he can put it on either, or she can put it on either one of their gardens. You can put it on your dark side or light side, it doesn't matter. These flower pots count as filled in spaces. They're also your currency, your score. So what are you talking about, score? Well, everyone also gets this planting table piece right here that goes in their area. You would put 3 cubes of each color. Everyone would get 3 red cubes and 3 blue cubes. These are just 2 different scoring numbers that add to your final score. It's actually a really cool mechanic that I'm not going to talk about in the final thoughts, because I actually shout the final thoughts first because I'm irresponsible like that. But I like this mechanic of the 3 different of each color scoring cubes, because it adds a lot of variety to the scoring. So it looks like this. So when you fill up a tile, a garden, it does this. You score it. And the way this works is You count up all the flower pots, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and all the collages, 1, that's unfortunate. And you move up on your scoring table, your flower table, planting table, 1 cube, the full amount. You can't break it up between different cubes. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of orange. So you can pick one of the cubes and move up 5 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or if you already had this one here, you could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And continue moving up. This red line, every time you pass it, you get a cat. Cats are basically freebies to put in. They are executive actions, and you can just kind of do that at any point. You don't have to do it as an action. Unlike gaining a flower pot tile, where instead of planting one of these plants, and we'll get back to the planting phase in a minute, you can grab one of these tiles and put it out to cover more of a single spot. Helps with that. Once you're done scoring, so we would get 1 on the blue. Notice the blues go up by 2s. Get 1 there. You would dump these into the row with the wheelbarrow that we showed you earlier, and then you would flip this tile to its other side, throw it out there next to the board, and take the one that was already there that should have been there. Then you still have 2 tiles, and you go from there. That's how this works, just like that. So then that's the scoring phase. Let's look at the planting phase. We already did that. You pick up a tile from the row that the gardener is in. Now you'll notice that some are empty right now, but you only refill when there are 3 empty spaces. So at which point you'll take the first 3 from the trail that we showed you and fill them in closest, middle away, furthest away from the farmer, just like that. So the farmer will kind of keep moving around on the farmer phase, which we'll talk, or the gardener phase is not a farmer. Sorry, it's cottage garden, not cottage farmer. Just like that. So that's the refilling phase. Planting phase is covered. Scoring phase we talked about as well. The gardener phase looks just like this. You'll just kind of move them around each time you take a turn around this space. When you get all the way back around, you flip it to turn 3. Flip it to turn 4 when you go all the way around, 5, and then 6. The 6th turn, it works like this. It's kind of a lightning round rule. So I want to show you right here the final round, just so you can kind of see it. It says at the start of the final round, you must immediately give up all flower beds with fewer than 3 tiles. Well, that could potentially end the game right there. Basically, you play lightning round until there are no more tiles left there's no more gardens left, because you would remove spaces. Whenever you complete a flower bed, you remove it from the game, you don't get a new one. So basically, when there's no more flower beds left in anybody's garden, that's how that works. You just end it and you score a final score just like that. So you would add up all of your orange cube numbers and all of your blue cube numbers, which could look potentially something like this. And you go from there. Now, if you're the first person to score into the 20s on either one of these, you would take the Beehive Marker. The Beehive Marker doesn't give you any points, but it does break ties in the end of the game. Person with the most beehives on their token, this one's 2, this one's 1, wins the game in the case of a tie. That is how Cottage Garden plays right there. Hey, wait a minute, this game sounds familiar. Cottage Garden. I thought this game was called Patchwork. Well, that's the thing. After looking at this, after seeing the rules and how it plays, and the cool art and all the different things about how this game looks, the wheelbarrow and all that, Cottage Garden is a different game than Patchwork. I like the theme of this better. I like the idea that you're building a garden and you're building multiple gardens, and the faster you build the gardens and get these pieces and put your little flower pots and collages, I have no clue how to pronounce that word. I'm thinking like a, the Polish Texan pastry thing with meat in the middle, kolache. It's probably not right either. But I love it. I love this game. It's great. It's a quick, fun game. You play pretty fast. You get through. You use your Tetris-y skills to lay out these tiles on the gardens. The art's cool. I like the idea of flipping the dark tile to the light tile and picking it up from the middle. So it's kind of cool that you're going to potentially get the same tile, or you're going to get what the other person had. I like the idea of you can burn a turn to get a flower pot instead. You can use cats to fill places. It's pretty great. You can even cover up stuff that's going to hurt you just to get a garden section done, just so you can kind of move on to another one. And I think that's a cool measure as well. I like the timing. I like the way that the grid works. Man, Stronghold is just doing a good job. These great designer series, I've got quite a few of them. They're just good games. I mean, this is Rosenberg. It's not what you were thinking when you think Rosenberg. You think, man, Agricola, Caverna, Feast for Odin takes those pieces from those larger games and shrinks them down into a smaller version, and I like that. There's no economics in this game. It's not like the buttons from Patchwork. It's all about placement and quickly placing and efficiently placing. I think that's a cool concept. So should you check out Cottage Garden, you already know the answer to that because it's already been a huge buzz everywhere. It's already sold out, been reprinted and all that kind of stuff. Now Stronghold's got it with this great designer. It's great, man. Cottage Garden is a fantastic game. Good job, Uwe Rosenberg, one of my favorite designers of all time. Good job, Stronghold Games, for an awesome, beautiful game. Thank you for doing a good job, and team. Just, yeah, it's a good company, man. They're in it. They're good with their fans. They're nice people, all that kind of stuff. They did not pay me to say this. I mean, you can if you want, but you didn't pay me to say this. I'm saying this because there's just every time I've dealt with them, and that's just been very small, has been great, man. There's just really good people, and I really enjoy that in the community. They get people excited about their games in a good way. I mean, Terraform Mars, good job knocking it out of the park with all the nominations and stuff. Fantastic game, so that's it for Cottage Garden. Go pick it up. Go plant some gardens and cottages, build a cottage, do something like that, okay? So Cottage Garden for the win. Definitely check out this game. This is Brian Drake with the Dice Tower here on the latest retro. For more, check out our channel. Again, my page has got a collated list of all the videos I've done on the Dice Tower here. We're coming up on 50 videos here at the Dice Tower, and it's been a blast. I hope you've enjoyed that. Let us know how you feel about that in the comments. If you have any negative comments, post them on another video. I'm kidding. I look forward to it, and I enjoy engaging with comments, both negative and positive, and I hope you will agree that I've mellowed out some on that note. Right, Shinjiro? Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at DicetowerNetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.